Radio Raheem here with Anna JULATON. You are one of the dangerous people on the carpet that's kind of sneaky. Not everybody knows that you're a fighter too. Obviously you're a boxer and now you've transitioned into MMA. Talk to me about the difference between the two sports.
Oh my gosh, I mean, talking about the cage versus the ring. Let's start out with that. Like in boxing, like I just know that you just gotta know how to cut off the ring, and you have the corners and so forth, right? Now, if you do that in the cage, they have what they call running the rail. So you can't necessarily like cut them off, like if you were to trap them into a corner. There's actually a lot more room for someone boxing backwards to actually circle around. So you gotta imagine your footwork, having to move a lot faster, or maybe switching your feet up just so you can close the gap. It's a little bit different, you know what I mean? It's these small little things. And on top of that too, there's a big thing with having control versus striking. So let's say if, you know, I'm boxing in the cage, this wrestler takes me down, my back's on the ground, right? But I managed to grab the wrestler's head, slashed out an elbow, and I started opening him up, right? So there's blood, everything, there's pain.
Usually when a girl wants you to open up, they doesn't mean an elbow smash to the head. A lot of people contrast boxing and MMA. You know, you hear fighters being called out on both sides. Do you think that's like, you know, is this apples and oranges? Is that just ridiculous? Or can boxers transition into MMA and the other way around? Because what you're doing is a pretty tough feat.
In terms of like other fighters from different sports moving into boxing, I think it's gonna be a little tough. I always go with the classic example. It's a great fight, and I think, you know, this person is an amazing fighter. But Chris Cyborg, when she fought Drina Jars, it was a Muay Thai fight. That's Chris Cyborg. She wasn't used to that arena. She didn't win that. But if you were to switch it around, if they were in a cage, I mean, she would kill that girl all day. So with that being said, I think boxers, on the other hand, they have a lot to offer in the cage. I mean, just footwork alone. I mean, the jab, the basic jab. You clip someone with a jab. What do you do with it? You keep going.
Right, because MMA fighters are usually not that great with their hands. Is that an advantage for you? Is that something that you feel like is kind of your secret weapon in there?
Oh, absolutely. So if you look at my Instagram or my Twitter, I'm always posting up all my boxing stuff. It's like, go ahead, watch it. You know, what do you get from it? Because there's one thing with watching something and trying to practice it and try to copy it, and there's a whole other thing with actually experiencing it, right, where you go up into a fight, whether it's an amateur fight, world title fight, even a sparring session, you know what I mean? And it's a completely different vibe. But
now, you know, we can't talk women's boxing or MMA without bringing up Ronda Rousey. First of all, when you see her dominate opponents like that, does that make you think, I want to get in there and beat that chick? Or does that make you think, yeah, maybe I need to stay away from that chick?
No, man. No, I mean, obviously a lot of props to her. She opened a lot of doors for a lot of female fighters in general. I think it's sparking a lot of interest with even young girls trying to get into the sport. But, you know, if there's one thing that I'll say about her is that she's putting it down on the girls in a sense where she's trying to close the gap. I would love to see a female boxer, because we're not in the same weight class. You know, I'm a lot smaller than she is and stuff, but I'd like to see someone kind of extend around a little bit more, use a little bit of footwork, use a little bit of head movement, try to go from up, down, whether you're like, here, you know, here, and just kind of moving your positioning, you know, not giving her what she's accustomed to, which is the range, that clinching range. Right. And I feel like boxing, even the top amateur boxers right there, you can just win the fight, I think, for that particular style with a simple 1-2. Straight punches all day, angle off to the side, and you just keep going and just not get touched. You
know, there's a lot of young girls out there that are fighters, that have the heart and the spirit and are true athletes, but the road to success and money in a boxing or MMA has got to be tough for a woman. What would you give as advice to young fighters out there that are female looking for a way in? How do you get this done?
I'd say first off, you know, get the whole gender thing out of your head, and just, if you're a fighter, just act like it. It's an entertainment sport, so if you gotta, you know, promote yourself, do whatever you can, find your style. Whether, you know, you got to be in a swimsuit and kind of pose for everyone, you know, go ahead and be it. But at the same time, if you step into the ring, you got to put it down. You know what I mean? So understand that if you become a professional athlete, professional fighter, it is a business. And as soon as you sign that contract with the commission saying, I want to be a professional athlete, just know that you're going to become an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Male or female, I mean, Ronda is the perfect example right there. I mean, she's like, hey, you know, I got this stage, let me just armbar someone real quick. Right?
Anna JULATON, ladies and gentlemen. We'll miss you in the ring, but we'll see you in the octagon. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Radio Raheem with Anna JULATON.